Okay, welcome everyone to our third episode up at Winter Hill Mass. In this episode we'll be looking at the Jesus Prayer. I think it was the case, maybe called out to Jesus, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, have mercy on me a sinner.
Wonderful. You know, whenever I'm at the summit of a trig point or anything like that, I always like to say a glory be to the Father, because I think that's important. But that prayer is very it's used a lot in the Eastern Christian tradition, the Orthodox tradition. And so last summer, and I did mention to you I've been to Australia.
It's like Father Paul with Los Angeles.
Well, oh my goodness. But I went to Australia. I stayed with friends there who've been at music college with, and they were very, very hospitable. And I said to them, I'd really like to go on retreat. So they suggested to go to a Benedictine convent monastery. It was about 2 hours on the train from Sydney. And it was a wonderful place and very hospitable. And each person got their own like little house in the grounds, you see.
Like a cell.
Yeah. And it was more than a cell, it was posh, really. Yeah, it was nice. And so it was a silent retreat. So I decided that I was going to paint an icon while I was there. And there was a walk. You could walk through the woods, which they called the bush. I always thought when they meant the bush, that would be like a big forest, but it could mean anything, like a smaller area of trees. But it's a lovely woodland walk, about 15 minutes. So I walked to and from the chapel because they had morning prayer, and they had mass, and they had evening prayer, all in common. And the nuns would be in the choir stalls, and we would be to the side. It was an incredible chapel. I don't think I told you about the chapel because it was had all glass. So behind the altar, if you imagine, you've got the choir stall facing the altar, and then behind that was all glass looking out into the countryside. And at the beginning of each prayer, all the nuns turned to face looking outwards, and they did it deliberately because they said that they were praying for the world. And it's something very powerful because they didn't leave the enclosure, but they were praying for the world. And I remember one of them, the sacristan, when I celebrated Mass one day, was talking to me about that, how people think we're not in touch with the world, but very much in touch with the world, and very much through prayer and the powerhouse of prayer. So it's a wonderful place to be, to paint an icon. And I was actually, we were talking before about St. Joseph, my friend of mine, Jim, he was my next door neighbour at university the first year. I arrived at Raymond Hall with my mum, my auntie and my uncle. And my mum and my auntie were like making a big fuss of me, and my uncle said, right, come on, you've got to leave him now, you've got to let go. So after they'd gone, Jim knocked on the door and said, my name's Jim, do you want some onion soup? And I said, yeah. So he ended up being my best mate throughout music college. And so he'd emigrated to Australia. He's a composer. He was on 15 to 1 actually as a composer, but he'd done all sorts of stuff. And then he ended up teaching, and he taught in Australia, in Sydney, and then he'd taken a sabbatical to do his doctorate. He did it on Benjamin Britten, and then he's got a job at the conservatoire, lecturing at the conservatoire, the music college for the university. So I was there for this retreat, and I was reading a book. So that was it. That's what I was telling you. And I said to him, I wanted to do a special present for him. So I said I would paint an icon, and who did he want the icon to be of? And so he said St. Joseph. And so I said to him, well, you choose the image that you want, and I'll and I'll do a copy of it for you. I've got a copy of it. I'd taken all the stuff that I needed for Nikon, including the special boards, because it's called gesso, which is rabbit's glue and white chalk powder, and that's the paint absorbs into that. You see. So I'd taken all the stuff with me. So he chose this image of St. Joseph. So I was working on this image, and I was doing a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon, maybe an hour or two in the evening, and it was wonderful because it was punctuated by prayer. Going, and it was a 15-minute walk to and from the chapel through these lovely woods. And at the same time, I was reading a book, and I can't remember. Father John Daly was telling me about it. Father John Dale, rather. And it was all based. It's a 19th century book, all about the Jesus prayer. And there's different versions of it. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sorrowful sinner, or Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me.
Yeah.
And it's about a peasant who wants to. In St. Paul, it says for us to pray constantly, and he wanted to find out how to pray constantly. So he went on this pilgrimage. He went pretty much walking through Russia, and it's a really interesting book. So he was asking different people how to pray, and how do you pray constantly. So the different sort of spiritual masters that he met kept saying to him about the Jesus prayer, and they said, well, pray it 1,000 times a day. Start with 100 times a day, and then 200 times a day. And so this was the prayer: Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sorrowful sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And so they said to him that a good way to do it is to keep saying it out loud. So, walking like this: Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Into the rhythm of what you're walking. So that it's a great prayer to say out loud or in your heart when you're walking. So it's a sense of keep saying that, or to do it as a breathing prayer. So as you're breathing in, say Lord Jesus Christ. As you're breathing out, say have mercy on me. The story develops, and he discovers that more and more this prayer becomes deep in his heart, and they talk about them praying with their heart, that this prayer just becomes so much part of you, that you pray with your heart with this prayer, and that you do get to a level of pretty much all the time you're making that prayer. And I thought this sounded terrific, so I thought, well, I'm going to start by every time I walk to and from the chapel, I'm going to say this prayer: Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. So it's walking like this: Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And then, because I like music, I thought, well, maybe we could put it to a tune, because I remember. So I say, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. 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 So, and then I thought, oh, well, I'll put some actions to it, because I thought maybe for the children. So I thought I'll do proper ones. So I looked at British Sign Language, and so I did that. But I found now that prayer has become very deep as part of my prayer life now. So that if I'm walking up and down the stairs at home, I'm saying that. If I'm out running, now I used to listen to, and I love Taizé music. I used to listen to Taizé music because I like to make running a prayer. I like to make it a prayer of penance. I like to make it a prayer recognising, coming back to Christ. I got that idea from another nun who was a Carmelite who prays for me every day, which is lovely. And she used to be a novice mistress, and she was saying that she would sometimes encourage the novices to run to the statue of Christ in the middle of the garden if they were struggling with things, just to make it like an act of penance or an act of wanting to be back to Christ. So they would run to the statue. So in the Sacred Heart. Hello Sheep. There you go, that's number 53. To play big one. And they had a picture of the Sacred Heart, and it was outside on the wall of the where I lived. So I would always run, when I would run back, I would run back and touch that image at the end of the run, as if the whole run was an act of wanting to be back to Jesus. And wherever I got lost and been away from Jesus at the time, I was coming back to him. So I always make that part. And also, and it's not very fashionable, is it? Because but the idea of doing reparation, which is doing something for those who need our prayers. Some people do that in lots of different ways. So I offer, when it hurts, when I'm running, I offer that as an act of reparation for other people who are in difficult situations and really need our prayers. And now, when I'm running, instead of having my earphones in, when I'm running, I just repeat that prayer again and again and again. So I don't know how many hundreds, thousands of times a day I'll say that prayer. And it's become so much part of things for me now that if I wake up in the middle of the night, that's the prayer that I turn to, you know. And I find it's just such a... it's incredible. So, you know, that journey to Australia, which was a sort of, well, not a break from pilgrimage, but I've been walking the Camino for 5 years. That we're going to turn right here, but don't worry, that cyclist is going to appear again and tell us that this road disappears as well. But don't worry, we're walking to Two Lads now, which is a way back, I promise you. But it was going seeing friends. It was much more of a holiday, but it ended up giving a great gift to me of prayer with that prayer, and it's one that I really, you know, commend to people, because it's very simple. The simplest version is, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, and just to be able to say that and just repeat it, so people are going out walking, running, cycling. It's a lovely one, and that's where I saw my first wombat, which when I was, we went to Kangaroo Valley before I went on this retreat, so we'd seen kangaroos, but I didn't see a wombat, and to be honest, I wasn't really sure what a wombat looked like. You know, it was like the sound of a wombat, but I'd never seen one. So went on the retreat, and I could see these holes and like burrowing ones, but too big for rabbits, way too big for rabbits. And I said, are there wombats around here? He said, oh yeah, there's wombats. So I went and I was walking around one day, and I thought I saw something. It was at twilight. They come out at night. So like when you go to bed, they get up, and vice versa. But twilight they come out, and there was a posh name for that, and I forgot the name of it. But anyway, so I saw this thing, and I thought it was a small sheep, but it wasn't. It was a wombat. And in the end, actually, I think I really liked to see one. And in the end, I didn't see it quite close up. And there's lots of fascinating facts about wombats, such as they have no knee joints, they can't see yellow, they are marsupials, so they have a pouch. But because they're burrowing animals, the pouch is the other way than normally kangaroos and everything. Yeah, so if you see a picture of a wombat from the back that's carrying a baby wombat, you see the baby wombat looking out backwards. Now that's all very well, apart from a wombat, if it's frightened and feels it's being attacked, will turn round and charge at something backwards. So the baby looks like the rear gunner on something, chasing, you know. So yeah, so I forever linked a wombat to the Jesus prayer. But that prayer, yeah, Lord Jesus Christ.
It's similar to the rosary. You can meditate on it because you don't have it to concentrate.
Yeah, exactly. And I was watching a programme before Easter about Mount Athos, where there's a lot of Greek Orthodox monks, and that's a big place for iconography. And it showed them with beads, and they used their beads to pray that prayer, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on my soul. So we'll go this way rather than the bridge, trust me, because there's a big bit of water there. See what
They have the gold, don't they? The gold leaf.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the icons are extraordinary form of prayer. Do you have a favourite picture of an icon?
I have the one that you mentioned in your sermon a few weeks ago, Joe, blessing the world.
Yes, right, yeah. I think it's called Christ Pantocrator.
Yeah.
And we're looking at doing something with that, aren't we?
We want to do like a trifold prayer card for families. Maybe a modern day version of the Holy Family. Also on this consecration I'm doing, it talks about Saint Joseph being portrayed as really old. And we don't know the age, but I suppose he was youthful to some extent, wasn't he?
I think the incredible thing about St Joseph was his willingness to allow his plans to be changed.
Yeah.
And he accepted God's will,
Yeah.
and he allowed his life to be turned upside down. He had a plan, and it was completely turned upside down. And he trusted in God, and that's why it's my confirmation name. So we were looking at that, aren't we?
Yeah, just to be like
I think that idea of domestic church is going to become more and more important. I was put something together for this weekend for our parish, just a few updates on a few things, and the reading that I started with is the one from St Peter that says you are spiritual stones, living stones in the spiritual house. And I think with all the changes that are happening, that's what's so important to remember. And the importance of over the last couple of months of domestic churches have been at home, praying at home, having prayer corners. I think I'm very privileged to have a house where I can have prayer. Not everybody. Tell you. Well, I don't know where the other one is. Yeah, I knew you were going to ask that, and I don't know. Right, so normally what you would see over there is orange. Yeah. Carry on because we're on the way back. I'm sure that there is something about that, isn't there? There's something going. Well, yes. Maybe on the last leg we'll pay the rosary. That'd be nice. But, oh no, it's clearing a bit there, John. I can see something there. So that's a run that I'll be doing on a Saturday, going up on the other way over what's called the Rake, and then from Winter Hill down to Wellington back. Takes me out of mischief. See, there's some other people crazy enough to be out as well. No? Oh, the one near us is open again now. Both, actually, the Chippy and Chinese. Oh, John, you'll be missing that.
It's not an advert for certain Chinese imported.
There's lots of great ones. I have to say that for what they say on the BBC, don't they? For reasons of what I read. Oh, look, it's positively. Look now, look. Look at that. Bit of sun now. Look at that.
The car's past the stadium over
It's
called today.
yeah. Now I think it's at the University of Bolton. Has it changed again? I think so.
There is a car's past the stand though.
Is there?
There are
Wow.
bakeries.
Hey, do you know who I saw up here the other day? This is absolutely true. I saw Mr. Greenhouse. I did, last Saturday. He's one of our parishioners. It was lovely to see him. And I was actually coming back up that way, back up round here. So, in fact, just before that, I was running past some cyclists who, I hasten to say, they'd stopped for a break. I wasn't overtaking them. And I said, "Oh, hello, Father Chris." So, oh yeah, it's clearing up now. There you go. Everybody I wish is direct here now with us. Oh, it's not too windy. The music group have been fantastic, and they've got to now they're actually recording their own hymns. They've done really well with that. They do really well choosing the music as well, and a lot of people have really enjoyed the music. And now they've put together quite a few things actually, Celtic Hallelujah and some other ones as well. So
I used to do a tenor part, but
did you?
asked me again, it was completely wrong.
Did they not let you?
No,
did
it
it?
didn't make the final call.
It's a bit harsh. You've been helping out a lot with us.
Used to cover.
So what did they do? Did they send it? Because I haven't done that.
Yeah, he does like the melody and
Yeah.
you
But how? What did they send it through? What's it? So you send back one where you've recorded it with that. Oh, it's yeah. Gosh, that's tricky to do. That's sounding good. It's one of the things that we've done in church that I just wish people would have been there. The atmosphere was delightful. Like the night prayers, especially at the beginning, lighting candles for people with the emitters. I don't know, it's just something really. Could you? Yeah.
Some of them sound so rich, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's something about that, you know, the ending the day, giving it all to God. And it was very special to be able to do that with everyone. And having the people doing the reading and yourself and Lucia and singing the hymns made it very special. Pentecost, again, I think there were 13 readers involved in that. And the same when we're doing it with the prayers during the day. They've all done readings, and we're using different hymns. So, you know, the idea is that in the end there'll be something for each day. Each day there'll be on the playlist. So Monday we'll have morning prayer, prayer during the day, exposition, a votive mass, evening prayer. You know, so that to try and help people punctuate the day. Now, I think this would be a nice place for us to maybe finish. Now that it's clearing up, we can get people to enjoy the view a little bit more.